Samantha Hayes stared at the message on her screen. Her jaw tightened as she read it again. The Vraxian mercenaries had said no to her offer. Again. They rejected us, she said, turning to face her team. That's the 6th group this month. Ben. Miller looked up from his communication station. His usually cheerful face showed concern. Did they say why? The pay we offered was huge. Same message as all the others. Samantha pushed her chair back and stood up. We respectfully decline all human assignments at this time. That's it. The mission wasn't even dangerous. All they needed was escort protection for a research ship through the Theta Quadrant. The pay was triple the normal rate, with extra bonuses for finishing early. Aaron Kelly, the security chief, crossed his arms. Something's not right. The Vraxians never turned down good money. Never. Grace Martinez nodded in agreement. Her dark eyes narrowed as she reviewed data on her tablet. It's not just them. I've been tracking this. Every major mercenary group in 3 sectors is refusing human contracts. The team sat in the command center of Earth Coalition Base Epsilon 7. Through the large window, they could see the stars and the busy space traffic around the station. Ships of all sizes moved between planets and jump points, but none of them belonged to the alien mercenary groups they desperately needed. Samantha walked to the window. This can't be a coincidence. We need those escort ships. Without protection in the outer zones, our supply lines are at risk. The Coalition Council is getting nervous, Ben said. I heard they're putting pressure on Admiral Wright to find a solution fast. Samantha turned to Grace. What do our intelligence reports say? There must be a reason for this sudden boycott. Grace's fingers moved quickly over her screen. There are rumors about some kind of incident. Something bad that happened between humans and mercenaries. But the details are unclear. We need more than rumors, Samantha said. Aaron, contact your sources in the security networks. Ben, reach out to your trading contacts at Nexus Station. Grace, dig deeper into those reports. I want to know what happened and who's behind this. The team quickly went to work. Samantha sat back down at her station and opened a secure channel to Admiral Wright. The older man's face appeared on screen, lines of worry clear on his face. Commander Hayes, I assume you're calling about the Vraxians. Yes, sir, they've rejected our offer just like all the others. The Admiral sighed. This is becoming a serious problem, Commander. Without mercenary protection, we can't safely move our ships through contested space. The research vessel Stellar Horizon is scheduled to depart next week. They need an escort. I understand, sir. My team is investigating why this is happening. We've found indications of some kind of incident that turned the mercenaries against us. Find out what it is, Hayes, and fix it. Coalition High Command is breathing down my neck. If we can't secure those trade routes, we'll lose ground to the hegemony. They've already started moving into systems we used to protect. Yes, sir, we'll get to the bottom of this. After the call ended, Samantha joined her team in the intelligence room. The walls were covered with screens showing data streams, star maps, and communication logs. What have we found? She asked. Aaron spoke first. My contact in the Galactic Security Guild mentioned something called the Crimson Talon Incident. Happened about 3 months ago. He wouldn't say more over an open channel. Ben nodded. I'm hearing the same name from my sources. The Crimson Talons were a top-tier mercenary group. Very expensive, very effective, but no one has seen them for months. Grace pulled up a file on the main screen. Here's what I've pieced together. The Crimson Talons were hired by a human special operations team for what was described as a simple retrieval mission. Something went very wrong. Out of 36 mercenaries, only 2 survived. What happened to the rest? Samantha asked. According to rumors, they were abandoned by the humans when things got bad, left to die. The room went quiet. Abandoning hired help was not just dishonorable, it was bad for business. No mercenary would work with someone who had that reputation. That doesn't sound right, Aaron said, breaking the silence. Coalition protocols are clear about protecting contracted personnel. Maybe it wasn't coalition forces, Ben suggested. Could have been independent operators using human credentials. Samantha studied the limited information on the screen. We need to find those survivors. They're the only ones who know what really happened. That won't be easy, Grace said. After what happened, no mercenary wants to talk to humans. They're actively avoiding us. Then we'll need someone working from the inside. Samantha opened a secure drawer and pulled out a small data chip. We have an undercover operative on Nexus Station, Lieutenant John Foster. He's been gathering information on weapons smuggling, but I think we need to redirect his mission. She inserted the chip into her console and began encoding a message. I'm sending new orders to Foster. He needs to make contact with anyone connected to the Crimson Talons. We need first-hand information. As Samantha worked, an alert sounded from Ben's station. Commander, the Stellar Horizon just moved up its departure date. They're leaving in 3 days, not 7. Without protection? Aaron asked. They have no choice, Ben replied. Their research target is a temporal anomaly that's closing. If they don't go now, they miss their window. Samantha finished her message to Foster and sent it through a secure channel. Then we have 3 days to solve this mystery and find them protection. She looked at her team. Whatever happened to the Crimson Talons, we need to clear it up fast, or the Stellar Horizon will be an easy target in disputed space. Grace's screen flashed with a new alert. Commander, I've got something. One of the Crimson Talon survivors was spotted on Nexus Station yesterday. A Taurian named Kurzak. Send that information to Foster immediately, Samantha ordered. Tell him to find this Kurzak, whatever it takes. As her team rushed to action, Samantha looked again at the rejection message from the Vraxians. Something bigger was happening here. Someone had turned the mercenaries against humanity, and she was determined to find out who and why before it was too late. Lieutenant John Foster sat in the dimly lit corner of the broken orbit, a bar on the outer ring of Nexus Station. He wore simple clothes with no markings that would identify him as human military. His brown hair was longer than regulation length, and several days of stubble covered his face. To anyone watching, he looked like just another traitor down on his luck. The bar was filled with various aliens from across the galaxy. Tall, slender Arcturians mingled with stocky Berlin miners. In the back, a group of reptilian saurians played, a gambling game with glowing dice. John had been coming here for 3 days, watching and waiting for his target. His wrist device buzzed silently. A message from Commander Hayes had arrived with new orders and information about someone named Kurzak, a survivor of the Crimson Talons. John took a small sip of his drink and casually scanned the room again. That's when he saw him. A Taurian was sitting alone at the bar. His gray skin had a bluish tint, and the bony ridge on his head showed signs of battle damage. One of his 4 eyes was covered with a metal patch. This matched the description of Kurzak. John waited another hour before making his move. He approached the bar and ordered a drink, positioning himself next to the Taurian. Rough day? John asked, not looking directly at the alien. The Taurian grunted. Every day is rough when you've lost your team. John nodded sympathetically. I know what that's like. Lost my crew when our ship was attacked near the Theta Quadrant. This caught the Taurian's attention. His 3 good eyes turned toward John. When? About 4 months back, John lied smoothly. We were just doing a simple delivery run. Kurzak studied him for a long moment. You're not a traitor. Your hands don't have the right calluses. He stood up suddenly. And no traitor would mention the Theta Quadrant so casually these days. John remained calm. You're right. I'm not a traitor. But I'm not your enemy either. He slid a data chip across the bar. I'm looking for information about what happened to the Crimson Talons. The Taurian's hand moved to a weapon hidden under his vest. You're human, he growled, his voice low and dangerous. Yes? But I'm not with whoever hurt your people. John kept his hands visible on the bar. That chip has information you might find valuable. Trade manifests from hegemony ships in the sector. When your team was attacked. Kurzak's eyes narrowed. Why should I trust you? You shouldn't. Not yet. But if you want to know who really set up your friends, that's a start. After a tense moment, the Taurian snatched the chip and slipped it into a pocket. Meet me tomorrow, Docking Bay 47. Come alone or don't come at all." Then he turned and left the bar. Back in his small rented room, John sent an encrypted message to Commander Hayes. "Made contact with target. Meeting tomorrow for exchange of information." The next day, John arrived at Docking Bay 47 early. The bay contained a small, battle-scarred ship with Taurian markings. John recognized it as a fast scout vessel, heavily modified with extra weapons. He waited in the open, making sure Kirzak could see he was alone. The Taurian emerged from his ship accompanied by a hovering security drone. "You're either brave or stupid to come here, human." "I just want the truth," John replied. Kirzak gestured for John to follow him inside the ship. The interior was cramped but functional. Weapon parts and gear were organized neatly along the walls. "I checked your information," the Taurian said. "Hegemony ships were indeed in that sector. How did you know?" "We've been tracking unusual hegemony activity for months. Their ships have been appearing in places they normally avoid. Then suddenly, all mercenaries refuse human contracts. It's not hard to see a connection." The Taurian sat heavily in a pilot's chair. "What happened to my team wasn't an accident. It was a setup from the beginning." "Tell me what happened," John said. Kirzak's three good eyes seemed to look into the distance. 3 months ago, we were hired by a human special operations team. Good pay, clear mission parameters. We were to help retrieve an artifact from an abandoned research station in the Theta Quadrant. The Taurian pulled up a holographic display showing a space station. When we arrived, everything looked normal at first. Then our systems detected an energy surge inside the station. Before we could react, half our ships were disabled by some kind of pulse weapon. The display changed to show a battle scene. The humans who hired us suddenly turned on us. They had weapons we hadn't detected. Most of my team was killed in the first few minutes. Those of us who survived the initial attack tried to retreat, but they had blocked our escape routes. "That doesn't make sense," John said. "Why hire you only to attack you?" That's what I couldn't understand, until I saw this. Kirzak showed another recording. It showed a wounded Taurian firing at one of the humans. The shot hit the human directly in the chest, but instead of blood, there was a spark, and the human's appearance flickered. They weren't humans, John realized. They were some kind of synthetics. Exactly. Perfect copies on the outside, but machines underneath. Only 2 of us made it out alive. Me and a silicoid named Vex 117. We tried to tell other mercenary groups what happened, but by then rumors had already spread that humans had betrayed and abandoned the Crimson Talons. John leaned forward. "Do you know who sent these synthetics?" "Not for certain. But that data chip you gave me confirms my suspicion. The hegemony wants humans isolated. Without mercenary protection, your supply lines are vulnerable. Your expansion stops." Suddenly alarms blared throughout the ship. The security drone beeped urgently. "We've got company," Kirzak said, checking his screens. 3 armed individuals approaching. "Not station security." John drew a hidden weapon from his boot. "Someone doesn't want us talking." The Taurian moved quickly to a weapons locker and pulled out 2 blasters. He tossed one to John. "If you truly aren't with them, now's the time to prove it." The ship's entry hatch exploded inward. Through the smoke, 3 figures entered, their faces covered by black masks. They fired energy weapons at John and Kirzak. John dove behind a cargo container, returning fire. One of his shots hit an attacker in the shoulder. The figure stumbled, and its appearance flickered just like in the recording. "Synthetics!" John shouted. Kirzak fired rapidly, hitting another attacker in the head. The synthetic's face dissolved into a mass of circuitry. The third attacker threw a small device that landed near John. He kicked it away just before it exploded, rocking the ship. Using the distraction, John rolled to a new position and fired 3 quick shots at the last synthetic. 2 shots missed, but the third hit its chest, causing it to collapse. When the smoke cleared, Kirzak approached one of the fallen synthetics and examined it. "Same design that attacked my team." John tapped his communication device. "I need to report this to my commander. Now we have proof." Kirzak looked at John with new respect. "Perhaps not all humans are the same. I will help you find Vex 117. He has more information about these synthetics. As John sent an urgent message to Commander Hayes, he knew they were one step closer to solving the mystery. But someone was working hard to keep that from happening, which meant they were on the right track. Commander Samantha Hayes studied the images on her screen. The synthetic attacker that John had disabled was unlike anything she had seen before. Its outer layer perfectly mimicked human skin, but underneath was advanced technology that allowed it to change its appearance. This explains a lot, she said to her team. These synthetics could easily pretend to be human military and then betray the mercenaries. Grace Martinez zoomed in on part of the image. The technology is impressive. Look at these neural pathways. They could mimic human behavior perfectly. Any idea who made them? Aaron asked. Not yet, Grace replied. But some components have markings I've seen in hegemony tech. Ben Miller looked up from his station. Commander, I just received a message from Lieutenant Foster. He and the Torian mercenary have located Vex 117, the other Crimson Talon survivor. They're bringing him to a secure location now. Good, Samantha said. We need to gather all the evidence we can. The Stellar Horizon launches tomorrow and, without mercenary protection, it's in serious danger. Aaron checked his security feeds. Speaking of danger, station security reports 3 more synthetics were found trying to access our secure levels. They've been contained. They're getting desperate, Samantha said. That means we're close to something important. Several hours later, John Foster arrived at their secure meeting location with 2 aliens. One was Kurzak, the Torian they had already met. The other was unlike any being Samantha had seen before. Vex 117 was a silicoid, a silicon-based life form. His body looked like polished black stone with glowing blue veins running through it. Parts of his body had been replaced with cybernetic components that whirred softly as he moved. One arm was entirely mechanical, and a glowing blue device was embedded where his left eye should be. Commander Hayes, John said, this is Vex 117, former tech specialist for the Crimson Talons. The silicoid's voice came out as a deep, resonating, You seek the truth about what happened to my team? Yes, Samantha replied. We believe someone is trying to turn mercenary groups against humans. Vex 117 made a sound like stones grinding together, which John explained was a silicoid expression of anger. I was there. I saw everything, but words are imprecise. If you truly want to know, I can show you. Show us how? Aaron asked suspiciously. Vex 117 tapped the device in his eye socket. This is a neural recorder. It stores memories as data. With the right interface, you can experience what I experienced. Grace looked at the alien with interest. We have a neural interface in our lab. It's usually used for training simulations, but it might work. Samantha considered this for a moment. Is it safe? Mostly, Vex 117 replied. Your mind will know it's not real, but it will feel real. The emotional impact can be significant. I'll do it, Samantha decided. If there's even a chance it helps us understand what happened, it's worth the risk. In the lab, Samantha lay on a medical bed while Grace attached small sensors to her temples. Vex 117 connected his eye device to their computer system with a series of cables. Ready? Grace asked. Samantha nodded. Do it. The room disappeared around her. Suddenly, she was seeing through Vex 117's eyes. She was aboard a mercenary ship surrounded by various alien species in combat gear. She recognized the distinctive red markings of the Crimson Talons on their armor. A human officer was speaking to them, explaining the mission. He looked completely normal, indistinguishable from any other human she had ever seen. The mission seemed straightforward. Retrieve valuable research data from an abandoned station in disputed space. The memory jumped forward. The mercenary team had boarded the station. Everything seemed quiet at first. Then alarms blared. Energy weapons fired from hidden compartments in the walls. Half the team was down in seconds. The humans who had hired them suddenly turned and opened fire on their own mercenary team. Samantha felt Vex 117's confusion and horror as his friends were cut down around him. One of the mercenaries managed to hit a human attacker with a powerful energy blast. Instead of blood and bone, the wound revealed circuits and metal. The humans' appearance flickered, then stabilized. They weren't human at all. The memory showed the desperate retreat, mercenaries falling one by one as they tried to escape. Vex 117 and Kirzak barely made it to an escape pod. As they launched away from the station, they saw their ships being systematically destroyed. The memory ended, and Samantha gasped as she returned to her own body. She sat up quickly, heart racing. "Are you all right?" Grace asked with concern. "Yes," Samantha said, trying to steady her breathing. "I saw everything. The synthetics were perfect copies. No mercenary would have known they weren't dealing with real humans." Vex 117 disconnected himself from the equipment. "Now you understand why no mercenary will work with humans. They believe your kind betrayed and slaughtered the Crimson Talons." Samantha stood up. "We need to prove it wasn't us." She turned to her team. "Ben, contact Admiral Wright. We need to show him this evidence." "It won't be enough," Kirzak said. "The rumors have spread too far. Words won't change minds now." "Then what will?" John asked. The silicoid's blue veins pulsed brighter. "Actions. If humans save mercenaries instead of betraying them, that might begin to change things." Aaron looked thoughtful. "The Stellar Horizon launches tomorrow without protection. What if we could prove this is all a hegemony plot by catching them in the act?" Samantha nodded slowly. "They would need to use synthetics again to maintain the deception. If we could capture them and expose them publicly." "It's risky," Grace warned. "The Horizon is a research vessel with minimal defenses." "Which makes it the perfect target," John said. "The hegemony won't be able to resist." Samantha made her decision. "John, you and our new allies need to warn the mercenary groups about what's really happening. Show them the evidence we've gathered. Aaron, Grace, prepare our fastest ship. Ben, inform Admiral Wright of our plan, but keep it on secure channels only." Vex 117's mechanical arm whirred as he clenched his fist. "The Crimson Talons were my family. I will help you expose those responsible for their deaths." Kirzak nodded in agreement. "If you're right about the hegemony's involvement, this goes beyond humans and mercenaries. This affects the balance of power in the entire sector." Samantha looked at the assembled team, human and alien working together. "Then let's get to work. We have less than 24 hours to save the Stellar Horizon and expose this conspiracy." As they filed out of the room, Samantha reviewed the memory again in her mind. The synthetics had been perfect in every detail. If the hegemony had technology this advanced, the threat was even greater than they had imagined. John Foster stood before the gathered mercenary leaders. The meeting room on Nexus Station was tense and crowded. 5 different alien species were represented, each leading a major mercenary faction. Their faces showed suspicion and hostility. "You have 2 minutes before we leave, human," growled a massive draconian with scarred green scales. His name was Kordath, leader of the Black Claw mercenaries. "I understand your distrust," John began, "but what I'm about to show you will change everything you believe about what happened to the Crimson Talons." Kirzak and Vex 117 stood beside John. Their presence had been the only reason the mercenary leaders had agreed to this meeting at all. John activated a holographic projector. It showed the synthetics they had captured, first appearing human, then revealing their mechanical insides. "These are shapeshifter synthetics," John explained. "Advanced androids that can perfectly mimic human appearance and behavior. They were what attacked the Crimson Talons, not actual humans." A slender, blue-skinned Novalian female leaned forward. Her forearms were crossed in obvious skepticism. "Convenient explanation, human. Where is your proof?" Vex 117 stepped forward. His cybernetic eye glowed brightly. "I have the proof in my neural recorder. I was there when my team was slaughtered." The silicoid connected to the holographic projector. Immediately, the room filled with the recorded memory of the attack. The mercenary leaders watched in silence as the truth unfolded before them. When the recording ended, the room remained quiet for several long moments. "If not humans, then who created these synthetics?" asked an Arcturian leader, his tall, thin frame towering over the others. "The hegemony," John replied. They want to isolate humanity by turning mercenary groups against us. Without your protection in disputed territories, our trade routes become vulnerable. The hegemony can then expand their influence. He showed them financial records that Grace had uncovered. These transactions linked the synthetics to known hegemony agents. Cordath rumbled deeply. The hegemony has played us for fools. There's more, John continued. We believe they're planning to attack a human research vessel called the Stellar Horizon. It launches today without mercenary protection, the perfect target to further their deception. The Novalian commander's antenna twitched. Why should we care about one human ship? Kirzak stepped forward. Because if we do nothing, the hegemony wins. They manipulated us once. Do we allow them to do it again? What exactly are you proposing? Asked the Arcturian. John looked at each mercenary leader in turn. Join us. Help protect the Stellar Horizon. Together we can catch the hegemony in the act and expose their deception to everyone. The mercenary leaders looked at each other, uncertainty on their alien faces. Suddenly, the door to the meeting room burst open. 2 security guards dragged in a struggling figure. It was a human scientist from the Coalition base. We caught this. One trying to plant explosives near your ships, one guard said. Aaron Kelly followed them in, weapon drawn. He's not human, he declared. Check his arm where I shot him. The guards pushed up the scientist's sleeve, revealing a metallic structure beneath torn synthetic skin. The mercenary leaders stood in shock. Another synthetic. Vex 117 confirmed after scanning the captive. Same design as those that attacked my team. John turned to the mercenary leaders. The hegemony knows we're on to them. They're trying to eliminate anyone who might expose their plot. The draconian leader Cordath slammed his fist on the table. I've heard enough. The Black Claws will join your mission, human. No one manipulates us and lives to boast about it. One by one, the other mercenary leaders agreed. The alliance was formed. Back on the Coalition base, Samantha Hayes received John's message with relief. They're in, she told her team. 5 mercenary groups have agreed to help us protect the Stellar Horizon. Admiral Wright has approved our plan, Ben reported. But he's worried. If we're wrong about the hegemony's intentions, we're not wrong, Samantha said firmly. Grace, what's the status of the Stellar Horizon? Grace checked her screens. They're preparing to leave dock now. Their course will take them through the Perseus Nebula. That's where they'll be most vulnerable. Aaron entered the command center, carrying equipment. I've modified our communication systems to detect the energy signature of the synthetics. If they're within range, we'll know. Good work, Samantha said. Our ship is ready. The mercenaries will meet us at these coordinates. She pointed to a location just outside the nebula. The team boarded their ship, a small but fast Coalition vessel named Valiant. As they pulled away from the dock, Samantha addressed her crew. What we do today could change everything. If we succeed, we restore trust between humans and mercenaries. If we fail, the hegemony gains a significant advantage in the sector. Conk. Ship accelerated smoothly into space. They had modified it with extra weapons and shields borrowed from the station's defense systems. It wasn't a warship, but it would have to do. As they approached the rendezvous point, their sensors detected multiple ships waiting for them. The mercenary fleet was impressive. Each group had sent their best combat vessels. Open a channel to all ships, Samantha ordered. When the communication line was open, she spoke clearly. This is Commander Hayes of the Coalition vessel Valiant. Thank you all for coming. Together we can stop the hegemony's deception and restore truth to the galaxy. The ships acknowledged her message. The mercenary vessels fell into formation around the Valiant. Their combined firepower was considerable. Now we wait for the Stellar Horizon, Samantha said, and hope the hegemony takes the bait. They didn't have to wait long. The research vessel appeared on their long-range sensors, moving steadily toward the nebula. All ships maintain position but stay alert, Samantha ordered. We need to let the hegemony make the first move. An hour passed in tense silence. Then Aaron's modified detector began to signal. Commander, multiple synthetic signatures detected approaching the Stellar Horizon from within the nebula. 3. Ships moving fast. All ships battle stations, Samantha commanded. But hold position until my signal. We need absolute proof this is a hegemony operation. The enemy ships emerged from the nebula. They were sleek and heavily armed, bearing no identifying marks. They moved directly toward the unsuspecting research vessel. They're charging weapons, Grace reported. Samantha opened a channel to the mercenary fleet. All ships prepare to move on my command. Today we show the hegemony that their games of deception are over. As the enemy ships closed in on the stellar horizon, the trap was ready to be sprung. The 3 unmarked ships closed in on the stellar horizon. The research vessel sent out distress signals, but they were too far from Coalition space to receive quick help. They've locked weapons on the horizon, Grace reported from her station. On the Valiant, Samantha opened a secure channel to the mercenary fleet. All ships, move now. Protect the stellar horizon. The combined fleet surged forward from their hiding place. The Valiant led the way, with mercenary ships forming attack groups on either side. The enemy vessels suddenly found themselves caught between the research vessel and a well-armed fleet they hadn't expected. Broadcast on all frequencies, Samantha ordered. This is Commander Hayes of the Coalition. Hegemony vessels, power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. The enemy ships hesitated, clearly surprised by the sudden appearance of the mercenary fleet. Then they scattered in different directions, trying to escape. They're running, Aaron said. Not today, Samantha replied. All ships, pursuit pattern. Don't let them get away. The mercenary ships moved with impressive coordination. The Black Claw vessels, piloted by the Draconians, cut off one enemy ship's escape route. The Novalian ships, fast and nimble, harassed a second enemy vessel with precise weapons fire. Cordath's voice came over the comm. We have disabled one ship's engines. They are dead in space, the Arcturian commander reported next. The second ship is surrounded. They cannot escape. The third enemy ship tried to flee into the nebula, but Vex 117 and Kirzak, flying a refitted Crimson Talon vessel, intercepted it. Their shields are failing, Kirzak reported. One more hit should do it. The Valiant fired its main weapons, striking the enemy ship's drive section. The vessel went dark as its power systems failed. All 3 ships captured, Samantha announced. Well done, everyone. Boarding teams from both coalition and mercenary forces secured the enemy vessels. What they found confirmed their suspicions. The crews were entirely synthetic, designed to look human. In the command centers, they discovered direct communication, links to hegemony military bases. Most importantly, they found orders signed by high-ranking hegemony officials. The plan was clear. Attack the stellar horizon, make it look like a human-led operation had abandoned their mercenary allies again, and further damage relations between humans and mercenary groups. Back on Nexus Station, Admiral Wright stood before the assembled mercenary leaders and coalition officials. The evidence from the captured ships was displayed for all to see. Today we have uncovered a plot that threatened not just the coalition, but all independent operators in this sector, the Admiral said. The hegemony sought to divide us through deception and manipulation. Samantha, John, and their team stood proudly alongside their new mercenary allies. The mission had been successful beyond their hopes. In light of these events, Admiral Wright continued, I propose the formation of a joint mercenary oversight committee. With representatives from both human and mercenary leadership, we can prevent such deceptions in the future. Cordath stepped forward, his scaled face solemn. The Black Claws support this proposal. Too long have we worked separately, making us vulnerable to manipulation. The other mercenary leaders voiced their agreement. The boycott of human contracts was officially ended. After the formal meeting, Samantha spoke with Vex 117 and Kirzak. What will you do now? She asked. The silicoid's blue veins pulsed softly. The Crimson Talons are gone, but their memory lives on. I will work to build something new from what remains. Kirzak nodded. Many mercenaries died because of this deception. We will rebuild, and we will be more careful about who we trust. You'll always have allies in the coalition, Samantha assured them. We've proven what we can accomplish when we work together. Admiral Wright approached them. Commander Hayes, your quick thinking and leadership made this mission a success. I'm recommending you for promotion. Thank you, sir, Samantha replied. But the credit belongs to the entire team. We couldn't have done it without each other, the Admiral smiled. That's why I'm also approving your request to form a special joint task force. Your team has shown what humans and mercenaries can accomplish together. John Foster joined them, looking more like his military self now that his undercover role was complete. Does this mean I can stop pretending to be a down-on-his-luck traitor? He asked with a grin. Report to the Valiant tomorrow, Lieutenant, Samantha said. We have lots of work ahead of us. Later that evening, Samantha stood alone by a viewport, watching ships move through space around Nexus Station. Among them were mercenary vessels that just days ago would have avoided any human contact. Ben approached and stood beside her. Quite a view, isn't it? It is, she agreed. I was just thinking about how quickly things can change. A few days ago, no mercenary would take a human contract. Now look at them. The hegemony made a serious mistake, Ben said. They thought dividing us would make us weaker. Instead, they brought us closer together. Aaron and Grace joined them. The first meeting of the Mercenary Oversight Committee is scheduled for tomorrow, Grace reported. Representatives from 7 mercenary groups will attend. And the Stellar Horizon has resumed its research mission, Aaron added. This time with a joint protection detail. Samantha looked at her team with pride. What we did here changes everything. Not just for humans, but for mercenaries too. We've shown that trust can be rebuilt, even after it seems completely broken. As if to emphasize her point, a Crimson Talon ship flew past the viewport. It was Vex 117's vessel, newly repainted with a modified emblem. The traditional red Talon now had a small human handprint beside it, a symbol of their new alliance. The hegemony wanted to isolate humanity, Samantha said. Instead, they've helped create the strongest alliance this sector has ever seen. In the days that followed, mercenary groups across 3 sectors lifted their boycott of human contracts. The story of the hegemony's deception spread quickly, along with tales of how humans and mercenaries had worked together to expose it. On Ewer, the Bridge of the Valiant, Samantha reviewed their new assignment from Admiral Wright. Their joint human mercenary team would patrol the borders of Coalition space, showing everyone that the alliance was strong and lasting. Vex 117, now officially part of their crew, operated the sensors with mechanical precision. Kirzak had joined. As tactical advisor, his experience with mercenary operations proving invaluable. Course laid in, Commander, Ben reported from his station. Take us out, Samantha ordered. Let's show the galaxy what happens when they underestimate humans and their allies. The Valiant accelerated smoothly into space, flanked by mercenary ships that once would have avoided them at all costs. Together, they represented something the hegemony had never expected, a united front that was stronger than any individual force. The alien mercenaries who had once rejected human missions now eagerly accepted them. No matter the pay, the true value was in the alliance they had formed, an alliance that would reshape the future of the galaxy.